What's up, guys? Brandon here. Just want to talk a little bit about our recap for Friday, what trades we took, how we were doing on the small account. Ended up with, at the end of the day, 195 bucks in the green after a red SPY trade and a green Apple trade. So let's go over that. We're looking at the SPY, 1 minute chart here. Took the position pretty early here live with you guys for the 50 reject and curl over. Thought process here, I thought we were going to get a pre-market lows test before, back up here a little bit, before we could, before it came back up. And my initial thought process was failing the 200 coming up, testing the 200 for a fail, bringing it back down, cracking the weekly support here first off, and maybe getting a real close. So I wanted to get in that first little dump here. But it didn't work out. Worked out later, but again, we were right. We were just a little early, so no big deal there. We took it off on the recovery up here, the resistance. So it was like a $200 and something loss, but we took another SPY dump trade for the breakdown, a secondary, and got a little bit back. So, oops, wasn't too bad of a trade. EOS, thank you. Wasn't too bad of a trade, but overall sentiment wasn't bad. And then I'll show you why I took more shorts on Apple here, and you can kind of see this red line here. I just left it red so we can talk about it real fast on the 4-hour chart. When I was looking at SPY in the dump, overall very bearish sentiment, right? We were just looking for a pop on the 4-hour to come back up, test the 9 and fail. Exactly what it did. Early morning here, that was the play we were looking for. We also had previous resistance up near, this whole base up here. This 260. 4 was the secondary base for resistance I had, and it made it to about 264.05. So 264 has some changes we're looking for that resistance point, also with the 9 EMA. So we got it within a few cents of resistance, not bad. But I drew the secondary trend line about halfway through the day, and this red guy you'll see right here, taking it from our lowest red and sliced it through the wick of the first 4-hour red candle. So when the second 4-hour candle started, did its pop up and started having its little, retrace throughout half the day here. It popped up at the 200. We're watching for rejection points, and we can see now exactly where our trend line is charted here for the rest of the day. So it kind of bounced, came back up and broke, and we're not going to chase it short. It's not just going to panic out right away. We waited for the retrace to prove weakness, because we don't chase on the downside. Came down and hit this 260 mark on the head. Great whole dollar number, popped up, hit our rejection trend line. Like, okay, well, there's our first test. We just need confirmation of weakness. We didn't get a huge confirmation of weakness. We got a lower high, and then we had a nice hold and buy at this 260.50 level, also a $half number. So we were waiting, and if we would have paid attention to volume, which we were talking about late day here and early, we would know right here that the second this squeeze was coming after this green candle beat out our previous red, we would have had to cover there, get out, just in case you were shorting, right? We're always paying attention to volume. So evidently we just had to wait for the confirmation of the weakness. And again, the 200 EMA on the 1 minute is one of my biggest rejection points, especially on days that have a constant downtrend. So when it came up and tested our 200 EMA here to the penny, we looked for a continuation of weakness, and we had a nice sell-off at the end. So let's take a peek at Apple. And that's why I use those trend lines. So Apple came up and failed our pre-market bottom channel here. So it opened up, had the big dump, no trades, just waited for it to retrace right to VWAP. Was our first short on this. So we took it, we were doing good, got in right at the top here at the first failure of VWAP, and we were up pretty significant, about 440 bucks after we took an early trade on it, took a little red, and then came back up, and I added in, I think, 30 contracts total. So we had a big dump. We were up 400 some bucks. We're like, okay, we just gotta let it ride, because we want to avoid the PDT rules. And we tried locking in some profit there, but my mistake was I had bought the Friday expirations, which was today at the end of the day, and I had no day trades to use them. So the only option was per my trade, because of my position, it had to be the price action by the end of the day had to be above 167.50 at the end of the day, and I had no idea where this price action was going. So clearly I'm way in the money, which they would have executed a day trade on anyway. But if it was out of the money and I was losing, I wouldn't have been cost a day trade. But I ended up the second dump down here, ended up just taking the trade off for like a $330 winner on Apple. Because I didn't really know. It hugged the VWAP and the 100 like all day, right? And just kept finding support. It was just a very long wait. And I got out quite early for the day, and after that huge dump, and then the secondary dump I came back for, just got out. And when something, you know, has that divergence in the SPY, when you see SPY picking the direction that it had early morning here, and then just continuing down, right? Just trailing down after the big test and break here of our huge weekly trend. And then, you know, lower high, snapped, and then waited for the full retrace to the 200 EMA. As always, guys, right on the 1 minute, they always retrace. You never want to chase these things down. Just hang tight, right? So we came back up, took the Apple trade as a winner. Overall, ended up at about $200 on the day from the red on SPY and then a green on Apple. But I had to call Tastyworks because of that expiration date mess up on my part. And excuse me, they're gonna they give you a grace period to rewind your trade, I guess, but you just gotta sacrifice a day trade. So Monday I will not be trading at all on the Tastyworks account, and they'll reset my PDT, even though I broke the rule there. And I'll be ready to go Tuesday on that account. So I don't know if I'm going to trade with the little bit of capital I have Monday on Robinhood, or if I'm just going to wait it out, take a day off. We'll see. But just want to go over those 2 trades that we had take. Those were the 2 ones we did live. Had a really good time doing it live with you guys and had some really good responses. So that was pretty fun. That's all I got for you guys today. And hopefully I'll see you guys Monday morning.